My name is Dena. I am the Director of Coalitions for the Leadership Institute, and I've been doing some sort of grassroots advocacy, lobbying, political campaigning for more than 26 years, which is really funny because I'm only 36 years old, or so I keep telling my parents. So apparently I started at an extremely young age. It says up there 202,000 people that the Leadership Institute's trained since 1979. That's a really, really old slide. It's actually closer to 250,000 now. So anyway, we've been around since 1979. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization. We do tend to lean conservative, but because we're nonpartisan, you're not going to hear me talk about Republican or Democrat today. I'm going to talk about conservative versus liberal. And the reason why we're going to be talking about that is because you're going to be dealing with legislators from all different political stripes. And we're going to talk today about how to work with people and get your message across to people, even if they don't normally think like you on other issues. So it doesn't matter because we can all work together on the things that we agree on. And in this group, the thing I think we most agree on is that we need to do what's best for the kids, right? We are a 501c3 nonpartisan nonprofit educational foundation. Therefore, every time that I share a story from a political campaign or talk about an issue, it is not an endorsement, it's just used for educational purposes. I'm going to be sending you off. Everybody that's in the room here today is going to get a follow-up email. In that follow-up email is going to be instructions for how to actually download the slides that I'm showing you. And you'll see those instructions. They're going to take you to this area called My Account. For anybody who's watching online, if you would like to get a copy of the slides, you need to email me. My email is Dena, D-E-N-A, at leadershipinstitute.org. Again, that's D-E-N-A at leadershipinstitute.org. If you email me at dena@leadershipinstitute.org, I will put you into the school. That's our term for saying that we're out here today. And then I will make sure that you get that follow-up email and you can get a copy of all the slides that you see, as well as the coupon code grassroots for the on-demand classes at leadershipinstitute.org/on-demand classes, and also the coupon code for the political leadership bootcamp, which is, again, AFESP. Very good. So here's the deal, guys. Mark asked me to come out today and talk about this. I have been a lobbyist both at the state level and at the national level. At the state level, it was on relationship education. At the federal level, it was on trade. Thank God I never had to testify before Congress. That would have been nerve-wracking. Plus, we wouldn't have chosen me to testify before Congress because I wasn't an expert on trade. I was a spokesperson about trade. But I did testify at the state level on relationship education, on education issues, on family issues. You've got 2 minutes. In most cases, you've got 2 minutes. And what we're going to be talking about today is how do you use those 2 minutes to make these people move in your direction so that they take action on your issues. And not just action on your issues, but the action you want them to take on your issues. And now I want you to start thinking about that, because if you're here in the room, pull out a piece of paper and start kind of writing down thoughts on what you would say in those 2 minutes, because we're going to do a little competition at the end and you might just win a prize. So we're going to practice at the end giving testimony, and I will be the chairman of the committee. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with developing your message, and then we're going to move into talking about intuition, and then we're going to close out with how to write your testimony and how to give testimony. I am slamming 4 presentations, which normally take about an hour to 45 minutes. I'm going to slam them into about 2 hours' time. I'm just cutting out all the superfluous stuff, so we're going to move fairly quickly, but if you've got any questions or need any sort of clarification, please raise your hand and ask. I would rather deal with the question right then and there and make sure you understand the concept than move on without you, okay? So here's the problem. People don't remember our issues. Within 16 days, 90% of the people don't remember anything that you said. I was at a rally last week. I heard Ludwig speak. I couldn't tell you a thing he said. Forgot it all, right? Because I was focused on other things. I was looking at the crowd. I was looking at the signs. I was looking at the people. I was enjoying being out in public It was sunny, it was warm, it was great. People remember what their focus is on. People will remember what their focus is on. So when you're going up to testify, we want you to make sure that you've got the attention of the legislators and that they are focused on you and the words that you're using and in the things that you're telling them. And I'm going to show you some tricks and tips on how to get that accomplished, how to grab their attention, keep their attention. But really, they remember what they focus on. What you focus on is what is important. And what is important is what you want them to care about. So I'm going to show you some ideas and some tools to make these legislators care. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about contrast. We're going to build a Leesburg grid. We're going to talk about making our message sticky. We're going to talk about intuition and how to work with their intuition, because if you work with their intuition, it's easier to get them to say yes to your propositions. Then we're going to talk about telling stories, and finally we're going to talk about the importance of writing letters to the legislators. So first off, has anybody ever heard of a Leesburg grid before? Okay, I've got one woman nodding yes. Woohoo! I've got a couple other hands over there. This is great. Okay, so way back in the 1980s, I know that was like ancient times, right? Apparently before I pretend I was born. A group of conservatives got together way far away from Washington, D.C., way out in Leesburg, Virginia, which is now like a 40-minute drive, if traffic's light. And they got together and they tried to figure out, how do we build the best messages for our candidates? How do we build the best messages for our candidates? Because they were having trouble building contrast between their candidates and their opposition. And what they came up with was this tool. Now, some of you, when I explain this, you're going to go, oh, it's a SWOT analysis. It is very much like a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Only this time we're trying to build contrast between our side and the opposition. And you can use this for anything. You're selling washers and dryers. You can use this to figure out, why is my washer and dryer better than the opponent's washer and dryer, and build a better message for your washers and dryers. Selling cars, do the same thing. What house to buy, you can do the same thing. So we do this with candidates. You guys can do it with your issue, with shared parenting. The first thing you're going to do is lay out us on us. What are the best things that we can say about us and about our issue, about our side of the issue? Then you're going to do us on them. What are the worst things we can say about them and about their side of the issue? Them on us. What are the worst things they're going to say about us? And then finally, them on them. What are the best things they're going to say about themselves? And now when I say best and worst, I'm talking about everything from, like if I were doing this with a candidate, I would start with the mundane. You sometimes had bad breath. It's not the worst thing. We could fix that, right? But it's something. And it goes all the way up through, you cheated on your taxes 15 years ago and still haven't paid them back. You know, it's everything from just slightly bad all the way through the worst stuff, or just slightly good all the way through the best stuff. So let's go ahead and do one of these. Everybody get clear on this? Let's do one for equal shared parenting. What's the opposition to equal shared parenting? Like, what's the other side always pushing?
Trial lawyers.
Trial lawyers, what do they want?
They want conflict because that's how they get their money.
Okay, so they want unequal parenting?
They want unequal parenting.
Okay, so us on them is going to be unequal parenting. We're going to do UN equal sign, and this is going to be equals. Equal parenting, unequal. Okay. Duh, Dena, you were a scientist. Why don't you just do it like that? The equal sign with the line through it. Hello. Okay, so what are the best things we can say about equal parenting, equal shared parenting? What are the benefits of equal shared parenting? Child's relationship with both parents. Both parents involved. Excellent. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Here's how much I know about your issue. My parents are married, have been married for 46 years. My grandparents were all married. My aunts and uncles are all married. All of my cousins are married. My brothers and sisters are all married. I'm single. There's not a divorce in our family going out to second cousins. I really don't know about this issue. My best friends are all married. I am the lucky, like, golden goose that everybody wants to be or should be. I don't know about your issue, so you need to educate me here. What else, why else is equal parenting, equal share parenting good? Yes, shout them out.
Both parents have legalities for their own flesh and blood, their own children. You get to make decisions, and the non-custodial parent gets put out, which gives the custodial parent all the legal decision rights of the child, which should not be.
Okay, so that would be an us on them. What's one of the negatives? One parent has legal control. And then one of the benefits is legal responsibilities are shared. Okay? Reduced conflict.
Yeah, I would say just for divorce cases, that may not necessarily carry sometimes over to actual co-parenting.
That what the reduced conflict is a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
Sorry.
reduced conflict in divorce cases is a good thing.
Yes. And then the negative to that is what we were saying before with the lawyers make money.
Yeah.
Okay? I saw your hand next.
Two big families that care about this child, so a bigger community of caring for the child.
You can kind of put that all under emotional security for the child.
Emotional. Whoops. Oh, security. Okay, what else? Anything else? Yes, positives.
Preservation of family assets.
Pres-
Assets.
financial ass.
And the negative is
Uh-huh.
the family law industry will lose out on that money.
Well, family law industry will what?
They will lose out on that money because if you keep the conflict up, the family resources are depleted.
Okay, so that's actually a positive, right? If the lawyers aren't making money off you all?
They'll be the opposition.
Yeah, well, okay.
I think along it is the
Cost less.
child instead of attorneys. That money can go,
Emphasis on child.
money can go to a college fund instead of legal fees.
Okay. So I put family law with an arrow down, and we're going to say save money. Excellent. Yes, sir. This will be our last one on the positives on us.
Yeah, children with both parents in their lives tend to have less problems with drugs and tend to have less problems with incarceration.
Positive life outcomes. Yes. That is something I do know about. Life outcomes. OUTCOMES. That is something I do know about this thing. Okay, let's talk about us on them. What are the worst things that we can say about unequaled shared parenting? Unequaled parenting. Not shared parenting. What was that again? Alienation. Parental alienation. Negative life outcomes.
More conflict.
Go up. More family conflict.
Child loses contact with the other side of the family. Complete loss or reduction.
With siblings.
Creates a cycle for a broken home.
Broken home cycle.
Financial insecurity, financial bankruptcy.
Awesome. Okay, excellent. Those are good ones. Okay, coming over here, I wrote them on them. In order to predict what the other side is going to say, because when you're going to go in to testify or you're going to go in and talk to legislators, you know the other side's going to be there, right? The trial lawyers are going to be there. What do the trial lawyers say are the benefits of having only one parent have primary custody and primary legal responsibility? Clear decision making, okay? What else do they say? Sorry, one more time?
Stability for the children.
Stable for the children. What else do they say? Even if it's a lie, tell me what they say. ain't broke. Yes, and I saw a hand up over here.
Mothers shouldn't be better parents.
What else?
Children living out of bags.
That's not a benefit, that's them on us, right? So the children live in suitcases or in bags. So that's what they would say is a negative on our side. Okay, what else? What else is a positive about that they say is a positive? Yes?
You just do it to avoid child support.
Okay, so that's, we've obviously moved to them on us. So you're doing it to avoid child support. What else do they say are the negatives about us? Sorry, I heard two people at one time.
I think what he's saying with cookie cutter is it takes away the discretion of the judge to make decisions. If you make it cookie cutter where everyone gets
One size fits all.
one size fits all. They say equal parenting creates a one size fit all, and then on them, they say that it's already equal. They say that the standard possession every other weekend already somehow comes out to already being fairly equal.
And if I could maybe add on that a little bit,
Uh-huh.
I'm sure that a lot of people will agree that, these attorneys and judges are going to say, well, 95% of the cases are already settled before they come to court. And it's basically because we
Oh,
ran
yeah,
out of money.
that's them on them would be that they say, well, parents can already settle outside of court.
Right, 95% of the cases.
And most do because
Well, most do it also because
they don't have money to pay for it.
decisions also inform
Right.
decisions too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then can you give me one more of what they say is a negative? Yes.
It keeps them from what they're familiar with, like their home or sports.
Kids away from familiar. They want equal outcomes, or what was that about?
No, they say about us that we are only doing it to establish equal outcomes
Okay, these are awesome.
and reduce child support.
Okay, so for the people watching online or on tape afterwards, what we've got is us on us. So equal parenting, equal share parenting on equal share parenting. We say both parents are involved, the legal responsibilities are shared, there's reduced conflict, there's a bigger community of love, emotional security, the financial assets are secured. The family lawyers make less money, so the family saves money for things like, I don't know, the kids' college. The emphasis is on the kids, and there's positive life outcomes. The things that we say are the most negative about non-equal parenting. One parent has legal control, the lawyers make money. There's parent alienation, negative life outcomes, chances of that go up. More family conflict. Loses time with the siblings, it goes to broken homes, and there's financial insecurity in the family. And then them on them, people that don't want equal shared parenting tend to say, well, it leads to clear decision making for the kids and it's stable for the kids. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And mothers are better parents. It reduces domestic violence. It's already equal. After all, the dad gets 1 weekend a month plus 1 night a week. What more do you guys possibly want? How greedy are you? And 95% of cases are already settled before they even get to court. And then them on us, the things that they say are the most negative about shared parenting is the children live out of suitcases and you're only doing it to avoid child support. It takes away judicial discretion. There's a cookie cutter outcomes for all cases. It keeps kids away from the sports and the things that they're familiar with. And you guys only want equal outcomes. So the next step in the Leesburg grid, once we've laid out all that stuff, I should have flipped to that screen earlier, sorry guys. So that's kind of what we're doing, right? The next step, now this is an old one because I wasn't sure how your issues were going to step out. So I put up here an old screen on Trump versus Clinton. It could have very well been Clinton versus Trump because the Leesburg grid for both candidates is going to look very much the same, only just who's on top and who's on the bottom is different, right? So what we did here was we started crossing out things that were similar and circling the things that we wanted to focus on. So if we're doing that for these, bigger community of support and emotional security might be something that we focus on, right? Because that is something that's not on that side of the screen. There's nobody on the them on them and them on us saying, well, hey, cutting dads or cutting the non-custodial mom out of the lives of the kids leads to a bigger community of support and more emotional security. Nobody over there is making that argument. Does that make sense? The financial stuff, maybe we end up crossing that out because we've got financial aspects on this side and insecurity on that side, and avoiding child support on this side, which is basically saying, well, we want dads to keep more of the money, if you're putting it together like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those kind of cancel each other out. Well, we want to pay lawyers less. Well, you're just trying to avoid financial obligations. It's kind of a wash on both sides. So you might cross that out. So you go through and you cross those things out until you figure out what your top issues are that separate you and your side of the issue from the other side of the issue. And that's how you build your God, what is the word? I just forgot my word. Your message, yes. How you divide and show that your contrast. That's the C word I was looking for. That's how you build the contrast between your message and the other message. Everyone kind of understand that concept? Excellent. Thank you very much. By the way, I have brought for you guys, because there's going to be a whole lot of interaction here, I've brought cookies. He spoke up first. He gets a cookie. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Yes. This screen? Why don't you come forward a little? Sorry. Okay, so that's how we build the contrast between the two different sides. I'm going to be handing out cookies, so as we do activities through this, if you start answering, you're all going to win cookies by the end, okay? Now, once you get your message, everything that is above the line, let me go back. Everything that is above this line, so the them, us on us, and us on them, that is your message, right? So this right here, everything that's on this, no matter what it is, this is all of our message. The moment you start talking about this stuff over here, or the moment that Trump started talking about this stuff below the line, or Clinton started talking about this stuff above the line, then they were on the other person's message. And if you're on the other side's message, if you're trying to argue these pieces, guess what? You're making their case for them. So if they're saying, well, you just want to avoid paying child support, and you're like, nuh-uh, I just don't want to pay child support as much because I've got the kids at an equal time. Suddenly you're making their arguments for them, because what the audience is hearing, what the legislators are hearing is, I don't want to pay child support, and they're not paying attention to because I've got the kids 50% of the time, right? So make sure that you're staying above the line. You're staying on this board, not on that board. Yes, sir.
I feel like with the message we're putting across, based on this graph you did here,
Mm-hmm.
It's really great how we can see how you laid it all out, and how we don't want to talk about stuff that they already are going to talk about negative, because we actually counteract what we're trying to do. We focus on what they can't argue with.
Yes.
And I wanted to just to bring up that I feel the strongest thing, which is over here, the positive life outcomes. We now, I think that's the biggest thing for the equal parenting movement, because the facts of the children in prison and suicides and teen pregnancy and drug use, how they don't have equal parenting, specifically don't have fathers in their lives. There's nothing the other side can argue and say, oh no, kids don't need fathers in their lives. Kids don't have bad outcomes. And so that is...
You have given me goosebumps. You see that? I've got actual goosebumps. And the reason being is because in preparing for this, I had to come up with some examples. And every example I came up with had to do with the positive life outcomes. So even though it was the one that we mentioned the last, when we were doing these, I think it is the one that is, I completely agree with you, it is the one that is most important. And as we go through this, you're going to see why it is the most important. So even though we had the lawyers, and they were wonderful, thank you guys, I learned so much about, I did, I've never thought about these things before. I've never looked into family law because I've never had to deal with this stuff before. When you're actually sitting there in front of the legislators making your arguments, because it's about the kids, the positive life outcomes is the biggest argument that you can make. And I'm going to show you in the next 3 sessions, in the next 3 bits, why that is the most important thing. So excellent point. As you were talking, I felt them start up my legs. Oh my God, now I'm like Chris Matthews. I got a thrill going up my legs and it went all the way up to my arms and my hair was standing on it. And because you were absolutely right and you get it already. That's phenomenal. Yes, sir.
Well, as a person bringing up the positive life outcomes last there,
Yes.
I actually tried bringing that up with my judge in my case.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to shut up. He wouldn't even listen to it.
Well, talking to a judge, well, probably because he doesn't care about positive life outcomes, he cares about the law. So I want you to go above the judge and go to the people that tell the judge what the law are, and those are the legislators. Am I right on that one, guys? They're nodding their heads. Yes, the lawyers said I'm right. Yeah. Thank you.